Hey there, and welcome to another Behind the Scenes with Julie. So, last week I posted a video about um, how I add my educational materials to kind of like an inventory and that I use Notion for. Um, and I got a lot of comments and um, direct messages, emails, kind of asking me more about Notion and how I'm using it. So, I'm going to take you on a quick behind the scenes tour of what I'm doing with Notion so you can kind of get an idea of what is possible. It may also give you ideas on how to use some of the other tools you're already using. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Julie Cahill Tar with Genealogy in Action, and I simplify advanced research concepts so that you can find your elusive ancestors quickly and confidently. So, if you're a dedicated genealogist looking to uplevel your research skills, you are in the right place. Although I'll tell you that this video is going to be a little bit more than my genealogy life, it will include a little bit of my personal life and my business life. So, hang tight. I will talk about genealogy. All right, so let me go ahead and share my screen so you guys can get the tour. Okay, so this is Notion. Um, this is the browser-based version. There is a desktop version, and there's also apps for iOS and Android. Um, I use the app on both my iPad and my iPhone all the time to jot down ideas or to check and make sure I don't have anything I'm supposed to do or whatever. So I do use the apps. I don't use the desktop version all that much. I pretty much just use the browser based version. Now, I just want to give you a real quick background. I did write a blog post about it, and I'll put a link to that in the description. But basically, what I was having issues with was having too many tools, too many things across those tools. And I was really looking for an all in one solution. But my biggest problem had to do with my genealogy research. And that was I wanted one place for my stuff to be managed. I have stuff in Evernote. I have stuff in Trello. I have stuff in OneNote. I have stuff in Zotero because early last year in 2021, I thought maybe Zotero could be my all in one solution. And I think if I would have worked with it a little bit more, I probably could have made it work, but I don't know that I would have been extremely happy with it. I've got stuff there. I've got stuff in Evidentia. I've got stuff in my database. I've got stuff. I can't even name all of the tools. I mean, I have it everywhere and it is not good. I have stuff in Word documents, Excel documents. Uh, I have charts and stuff in Visio. So, I've just got stuff everywhere. And I don't like that. I want to be able to have everything in one place. And while I think there are solutions out there that could probably have worked for me with a little bit of work, what I found in Notion was the fact that I can have relational databases and make my own system. I'm going to walk through all of the things that I have set up. We will talk about genealogy. It's just going to take a few minutes to get there. But so right now I'm on my personal dashboard. I'm in this thing every single day on all my devices. That's just the way it is. So I have these two things at the top, these quick idea inputs and quick task inputs. And the reason I do is because on mobile, especially on my iPhone, I don't want to have to scroll down through this whole list of to do items to get to the place where I can add more. So I have them up at the top so I can just plop it in and be done with it and it'll go where it needs to go. So this task database is actually the same as this one and the same as this one and this one. They're all the same. They're just different views of this main database, all tasks. That is part of my task management system. So I have a big system that manages all my tasks, but these are all different views of this. So I like this urgent tasks for the week. Yes, I need to do my income and expenses and reconciliation stuff. Fun times. Um, so they're all just different views. And this is my main view. My green state means it's due today. My blue state means it's coming up. And if it's red, which amazingly, I actually don't have anything in the red, which is actually kind of unusual. Um, my red would be overdue. So I have recurring tasks, like all the ones I have left for today are recurring tasks. They're things that I try to do each day. And then or in this case, this one's a monthly task. And then when I'm done, I just do this. So my next date for this is the 3rd. So I just change it and then it automatically moves it down to the 3rd. I'm going to put it back to the 2nd though, so I don't forget to do it. All right. So this is basically my task manager. And as you can see, it covers different areas of my life, including personal, business, health. And I think those are probably writing and genealogy. I just don't have any genealogy tasks. Due dates. Oh, here's one right here. Work on my forever project. I do that every week. I also have a business dashboard, which is a bunch of like toggle things with lists of things. I'm not really going to go into this all that much because it is kind of personal. I also have a health journal because I've been trying to use this to track my migraines instead of my migraine app on my phone, because I can run more reports and I can grab more data. I can make more sense of the data in this than I can in the app. And then I was also tracking blood pressure for a while because I was having some issues. So like I said, I mean, we're talking, this is across all areas of my life. Um, I have an items to process page, which is basically just me dumping stuff. So I use this page to capture notes and sources that need to be processed elsewhere. So for example, like here's some marriage information that I found when I was playing around with a website to get familiar with it. And I just happened to find my people. And so I made some notes to myself. I've got other things in here that, ideas. Should I do this? Should I do that? How did she do this? And then I also have captured items. So I can use one of two plugins to capture stuff. And I just usually use the one that's made by Notion. And so when I do something, I just have it come here and then it'll just add to the bottom of this list. And then every Friday, I have a task to spend like 30 to 45 minutes processing these. And I haven't been very good about it just because I've been working on some major projects and haven't had time to really dedicate to it. And this is why they're like really piling up. So, all right. Then I have my content manager. This is a kind of a massive content manager. Um, it was originally called I think, Content Creator Creator's Companion, I think, and it's a product template that Thomas Frank uses or built, and I purchased it because I really didn't want to sit here and build it. So I spent like $100 and said, give it to me. And then I modified it to what I needed and was done in very, very short amount of time. So it was well worth that money. But it has all of my channels. He calls them channels. I kept that. So I have my genealogy in action blog, my personal genealogy blog, my YouTube channel, my newsletter that I do for my email list, my scavenger hunt, my Friday finds, and my Instagram stuff, any ads that I'm running, and my membership. So it's managing all the content across all of these places. And then I can get to my ideas from here. He has a validation thing. I don't typically use it, but it is here if I need it. and decide to start using it. And then my favorite part is the content calendar. So this is just one view of my content in a calendar view. Now I can have see, I can change views. So I can do calendar planned only, which will probably take everything off of here because I don't see anything in a planned only status. Um, but I can create all sorts of different views that filter out certain things. So, like if I don't want to see anything that's published or completed, I could totally do that. So I could actually do that right now on the fly. So I'm going to duplicate this view. I'm going to call it uh, calendar to do. And then I am going to filter. That's fine. And we're going to add a filter rule and we're going to say that status is, I'm going to do is not published or completed, and see how they all just disappeared. So now the only thing I have on my calendar, and you know what? It's funny because I never thought of actually doing this. So it's funny when you have talk through this with some, like to someone or with someone, the things that you can come up with. Because in this case, I really just should probably use this view because I don't like necessarily seeing all those other things on there. It gets a little cluttered. So that makes things a little bit easier. I also have a projects area. So I have different projects that I'm working on. And it keeps track of things like this is um, my book that I'm writing. And right now, the only task I have is to write 1 hour per day. Eventually, there will be more tasks for editing, cover design, layout, all that kind of stuff. But for right now, I'm still in the writing phase. Someday I will get it done. This year, it's going to be done in 2022. I don't care if it's December 31st, it will be done. So that's kind of nice. Right now, the only genealogy project I kind of have is my ICAP Gen Prep. And I do have tasks associated with that because I'm prepping and I've got to deal with some things. And so I'm working through that right now. My other part before we get to the genealogy part is my knowledge base. I did talk about this a little bit in the previous video. I can get to it from the upper right corner of the video screen. And basically, this is my entire knowledge base, which is made up of all of these areas here. So it's made up of these knowledge areas. So broken down by genealogy, business writing, etc., educational materials, which is what I talked about in the previous video. References and resources. I do talk about how I believe that educational materials and reference materials are different. And so I have them separated. I also have a database for experts. And in this particular view, it is a board view, and it is broken down by area, knowledge area. So business, genealogy, other. And this is not all of them. You can see there's like a little button that loads more and it loads like another 25 or something. And you just keep kind of going. And I have a lot of people in here because I've been processing a lot of educational material. So then I also have topics so that if I need to find out what do I have on atlases, which I haven't assigned there. So now we've got this. I can see what related educational materials I have, and it looks like I don't have any. And I can check for related references, and it doesn't look like I have any record sets. Nope. So I'm not really sure what's going on because they should be showing up. I'm sure I have something in here, but perhaps I don't. About Bavaria records. And what I'm doing and there we go. So what I did when I opened it, I didn't have a template assigned because I haven't gone through these and done them. But when I did a template, it loaded all of these things in here for me, which is great because I have it set up where I don't have to do anything. I just hit that button and boom, it tells me what I have. So this was for Bavaria Records. So I watched a lecture with the International German Genealogy Partnership Conference that they had last year in 2021. And I watched a lecture, Introduction to Bavarian Records by Marcel Elias, and got some really good information. And in fact, I think because of something he said, and then I also watched another lecture yesterday, actually, that really solidified my hypothesis. So thanks to Marcel and I forgot who did the other lecture. But thanks to them, I think I might have actually figured something out. So, but anyways, this just lets me know what I have in relation to these particular things. So, and the nice thing is I didn't have to assign um, this topic to Marcel. Um, there's something called a roll up. And so what it's doing is automatically pulling that data for me and then putting it where I need it to go. It sounds complicated and it is until you do it enough and remember how to do it. When you don't do it enough or don't do it for a while, it's hard to remember. So I actually recorded a Loom video for myself so that I knew how to do it moving forward because I kept forgetting specifically how to do it and make this all work. Because, like I said, these are all relational databases, they are all connected. All right, so enough about my knowledge base. We won't go into the rest of this. What I do want to get to is the genealogy. Now, I have only set this up, I have tested it, but I have not actually run a project through it yet. So, this was not exactly meant for prime time. I have not shown this to very many people because it's simply not ready. However, I really wanted to um, take you guys on a tour because of all the questions and comments I've been getting. So I wanted to kind of show you primarily the biggest reason why I chose this Notion solution. Um, so basically, I have all these different things. So, like, I have locations and I have record sets. Now, where did we see record sets earlier? We've seen them all over the place. If I go into an educational material, so let me go to, sure, tax records, why not? See, I have related record sets here. Now, I don't have any record sets in my Notion space yet, but when I do, they're going to show up here. So they're all, like I said, it's all connected. If I want to see, what else? Um, my locations are tied to people. So I have this particular view, which is a list by country. I have a list by state, table by country. So just different types of views. I have board by country. So if I want to look at Germany, I can see here, this is a bunch of stuff that needs to be hidden. Like I said, this is not ready for prime time. And in fact, I have a note, this template needs to be finished. But my point being, I am in locations, and if I click down into experts, I can see all of the people that have something to do with Germany. Wow, there's a lot of people on this list. So there's a bunch of people. So if I need help or if I need something, I know who I can contact and I can just go to their page and get their contact information. I'm not going to open that stuff up because some of it is private. and get their information and say, hey, I have a question. Can you answer it for me? Can you help me with this? Um, there's also related topics. So we can see here I have German names, German occupations, technology, their website matricula, resources, Prussian geography, um, apparently some case studies, German surnames. And I will tell you that my topics really need to be formatted differently. I was just trying to get stuff in there, and I'm going to have to spend some time going through and kind of updating these topics to make my life a little bit easier. But I am using a standard format for my locations. So you can see here I have United States, Colorado. If I had a specific place in Colorado, for example, I would have comma Jefferson, comma Golden. I think it's in Jefferson County. If I were talking about Golden, Colorado. So the locations are tied to my knowledge base, but they're mainly a part of my genealogy because when I go to my like people, I don't know if I have anybody in here. Okay, I do. So I have, different, and this is not a good view. This is just like everything under the sun that's in this database. But if we look at me, you can see that I have, my date of birth, my place of birth, I have plan items and related research questions, related research. Oh, this is related research question. These are related research projects. So that all of this stuff is all connected. Um, so there's a lot going on in this database. And like I said, it's really not ready for prime time. Like I don't have any sources in here except this test source. But what's nice about this is I can tag it with something. I can assign one source to multiple people. So for example, like my birth certificate would be assigned to me, my dad, and my mom because they're both named on it. Um, things like that. And it's all connected. So no matter where I am, I can pretty much find anything. Unfortunately, it's a little tricky right now because I don't have anything really in here. Because again, this is something I hope to work on in July is to finally start getting some stuff to get at least one project loaded in here to really test it. Um, so at any rate, I have a thing for repositories or different repositories, and it will eventually have contact information and things that are attached to it. So Family Search has this database, this database, this database, blah, 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 blah. The NYB&G Society, which is the New York Society that has this, all these different things will be listed here and tied back to these record sets. So I actually do have some record sets in here. So for example, here's like the Germany, Prussia, Posen Catholic and Lutheran Church records, 1430 to 1998. And it is Family Search. So if I actually go to Family Search and I look at related records, I've got two in here. The one I just talked about, and then this muster roll of Company Infantry of New York. I don't know what the rest of it is. Um, and the reason it has, let me put this in a full page. The reason it has two repositories is because one of them has the actual record and the other one had like an index or something, or I don't remember what the situation is. But there was a reason that they're both listed. So, and then I can see if I have any planned items. Oh, look at that. I do. And I really don't. These are just fake. They're just for testing purposes. But I can, so if I'm going to the Family History Center locally, because I can't access certain film or digital records because they're protected and you have to be at the library or Family History Center, I can actually come here and see what I have to do. Works for me. I have a place for logged items. So this is going to be my master log. research log, and it'll be attached to people, it'll be attached to places, it'll be attached to record sets, it'll be attached to a bunch of stuff. So this is really why I wanted to be able to have everything in one place, because I'm tired of having my research log in a Word document. I'm tired of having my research plan in a Word document. They're the same document. But what's happening is I do a project, I use my plan, I log my research, and then I transfer everything to a master log for that person. But that's a little bit of extra work that I have to do. I mean, it works for me. It's been working for me, and I'm happy with it. But this is gonna be a whole new ball game. I touch it once, it goes in as planned. When I'm done with it, it becomes logged and it is attached to everything that it needs to be attached to. It's going to be beautiful. I can't even begin to tell you how excited I am. I mean, I haven't even looked at this stuff in a while because I've been focused on my business and I haven't really been doing a lot of genealogy research. So it's been very difficult for me to really get in here and really work with a true project, not just fill in these like kind of dummy tasks, like these are just, a sample item, a death certificate. These are all fake. It was just for the purpose of testing to make sure that everything was working properly. So, it just, it is going to be, I can't, I literally like cannot wait to dive into it, to be honest. I really want to. That's what I'm actually going to spend the month of July, minus my 2 institute weeks. Um, but then I also have some other things too. Like I have a Percy list that I started. I actually have this in Excel currently, but I am going to move all of that over here. Um, and I did add one in here to test, and it is a legitimate one. I actually did find it and put it in here. But I need to move my ones from Excel into here. But that is pretty much it. I mean, like I said, the genealogy database, there's a lot of things here that I didn't talk about. And it's because it's really, I mean, like this is my research hub. So I have research plans, active, plans on hold, completed research plans, research questions, like active, on hold, like all these different things solved. I have notes to myself to maybe do other things. And then I have the brains of the research hub. These are all the different databases that help me run this particular portion of my Notion system, my genealogy system. So there's a lot of stuff. And it probably seems extremely overwhelming, I would imagine. But to be honest, once it's set up, it's going to be absolutely wonderful. Um, because it just like I've said this a million times, I can't even explain how geeked out I get about it, to be honest. And I can't wait to really get in and start working in it. In terms of my other stuff, I use all this other stuff every single day. So I'm not as geeky and nerdy about these as I am about the genealogy one because I use them every single day. I mean, they are cool. I am way more productive. I am on task and on track more than I was. I do still use my personal calendar, my Outlook calendar for appointments and things like that. I could manage it in here if I wanted to, but this is really more for task management, and not really like doctor's appointments and stuff like that. I really feel like those need to be on my calendar. Um, but okay, so let me come back on camera real quick. All right, so I hope that you found this somewhat helpful. I mean, I really didn't get to show you everything in my genealogy database because it's still a work in progress. I mean, it is set up, but there's nothing of like concrete value in there for me to really demonstrate how exactly it works. That'll be down the road a little bit. Um, but I just wanted to kind of show you, even though we talked a little bit about things that aren't genealogy, I wanted to share my entire Notion life with you. I mean, I use Notion as my second brain. It has been a wonderful tool for me. I've been using it since December. I mean, I literally spent the entire month of December building out this entire system because, like I said, everything is connected. My genealogy stuff is connected to my content. My genealogy stuff is connected to my knowledge base. I had to build all of it out in order for it to all come together and work with the click of a button. That's the difference. A lot of people will build it out and then they'll build a page and they'll build they'll set up these different things to pull from this or pull from that. But if you set it up with a template in mind, you can program it to um, pull what it needs to pull with the click of a button. I don't know how else to explain it because even though I'm tech savvy, this is even a little bit beyond my brain capacity to an extent. So, but once it's set up, it's just wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. It was worth my time. I mean, like I said, I literally spent the entire month of December doing this. This is all I did in December. And it was well worth it because the last 6 months, I have been so much more productive. I have been so focused. I've been getting stuff done. I am able to plan better. Um, and really just, yeah, I don't know how else to explain it. It's been a lot better of a system for me. And having everything in one place makes all the difference. I don't have to go into Trello every day. I don't have to go into Evernote every day. I don't have to go into OneNote every day. I don't have to open all of these things every single day to find the one thing that I'm looking for. I can't remember. Do I keep that in Trello or do I keep that in Evernote? I don't know. Beats the heck out of me because I had a to-do list in Evernote, like a daily, weekly situation. That was basically what my um current task manager is. And that was an Evernote. But yet all of my content planning and content management was in Trello. And the two were not connected. So in Notion, however, I have a piece of content and it is integrated with my task manager so that I have a list of tasks. So a lot of the tasks that you saw at after my blue ones, a lot of those were content related tasks. So I have to go do this tomorrow. I have to do this on Thursday. I have to do this on, Monday or whatever. And that's the beauty of it because that is what is keeping me on track. If I were solely working from a content calendar without tasks, I would be in trouble because I would be forgetting to do certain things. Because right now, yes, I can schedule pretty much all of my social media with the exception of like reels on Instagram or stories on Instagram or Facebook profile posts. I can't schedule those. So I have to give myself a task to do it, or else it's not going to get done because I schedule out everything else. So that has made a world of difference, being able to connect both my content and my tasks and know exactly what I need to do. It's not about the content itself that needs to be done. It's about all the little things that need to be done in order to get that content out the door. If you have questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comments for this. If you're tied to me on social media, feel free to direct message me, DM me. Um, I'm happy to answer questions. I've been doing it for the last couple of days. So even if you're not sold on Notion, that's okay. I hope kind of seeing the things that I'm doing will give you some ideas on what you might try in whatever tools you prefer. So if you're an Evernote person and you're like, well, hey, I never thought to track my Percy list in something that's online or something accessible or, whatever, in one place. Maybe you do all your genealogy in Evernote. Everything is in there except for this Percy list. It's in a spreadsheet on your computer, on your desktop, or in a cloud somewhere. So maybe you do that, and you thought, oh, wait a minute, I should throw that in the Evernote too. So I hope that it at least gave you some other ideas of things you could be using your other tools for. A lot of what Notion is literally a bunch of these one-off apps pretty much combined into one. You can make it look like Trello or Asana. You can make it look like Airtable. Um, but if you're set on Airtable and you're set up and you don't want to change, that's totally cool. Maybe you got some ideas out of this to maybe implement in your Airtable solution. Like I said, if you have anything, please just leave me a comment, DM me, whatever. And I will try to get back to you as soon as I possibly can. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.